Leadership is most of the time a misused terminology. Leader automatically implies that this person has followers. That is a primary definition of the word leader, that one must have followers. A business person who is successful in business is considered as a business leader, not as a leader for farmers, and not as a leader for academics, not as a leader for in athletics. So a champion of athletics may be considered as a athletic leader. So the leadership primarily must have followers, somebody who follows them, and this person must be able to scale up his activity, scale up his ability to have a cross-industry connectivity. For example, he must be able to take the farmers along with him, as well as the artists along with him, as well as the academicians along with him. Then he has scaled up his leadership quality. And now the leader must have larger scope, a wider scope of his not only activity but his understanding of things, so that he can become more inclusive of things around him. So the leader primarily must have followers, secondly must be able to scale up his activity, have a cross-industry relations, perhaps even a cross-community connectivity, and then a leader must be able to have a larger scope. A larger scope means to be able to include more and more types of people, types of mannerisms, types of behavior into his dimension of activity. Second, a leader must be able to connect, not essentially only through language, but through emotional connect with people. The leader must have a lot of emotional intelligence, how the emotions work. The leader must have emotional insights into why a person behaves like that, why a community behaves like that. Not what they tell you externally, but internally what happens within them, or within that stream of people, within that domain, within that professional service, within his industry, what happens, and as well as the insight and why it happens within that industry. So the leader must learn to connect emotionally and has an appeal of perhaps intellectual appeal. So number one, leader must have followers. Number two, the leader must be able to scale up his activity, has a cross-industry connectivity. And third, he must be able to have a larger scope of understanding, so that more and more mindsets can be included into his reach and influence. And four, he must be able to connect emotionally to the people he's trying to communicate to. And five, the leader must learn to compromise. When he makes certain compromises, and learn to compensate appropriately and relevantly, not essentially with money. And compensation need not be only limited to resources. It could be just ability to listen, ability to share your time. So then the leader learns to not only connect, but be able to collaborate. He'll be able to collaborate. A leader has to bring in collaboration of multi-dimensional people with different stances, people who have got rigid positions on certain issues, and how to bring about collaboration within them and how to allow them to collaborate with you. So this requires a lot of exchange of compensations, making your own compromises, perhaps even making some climb down from some rigid stances that you have taken. And then the leader needs to connect, collaborate, and then learn to communicate. Communication need not be just limited to language. It could be communication that you are a pleasant person to be with. People need to connect with you and learn to communicate with you A person communicates with you when he has no threat perception from you, and when he has no sense of insecurity, when his security and safety is perhaps assured in your presence, and when your presence seems to be very clear, and when the person who's talking to you, when their self-esteem and when they feel confident about themselves, these are certain feel-good factors. The leader, to communicate, must give the person, the listener of the leader, some feel-good factors. So the leader needs to have followers. The leader needs to learn to scale up his activity for cross-industry transactions. The leader needs to be able to have a larger scope of knowledge, larger exposure, larger experiences to enhance his scope, so that more and more people can be included with various tastes, people with various tastes. And then the leader needs to learn to connect emotionally, intellectually, and the leader needs to learn to collaborate by making some compromises and allowing compensation to happen, and be considerate to somebody who comes with an application or an appeal, that your attention need to be there, perhaps even need to give a verdict. And after collaboration, he needs to learn to communicate. So these are certain attributes of leadership. Also, you need to learn as a leader to have somebody external to you to evaluate your progress, to evaluate and to examine whether the verdicts you have given are in adherence with the social system, with the legal system, with the economic system, with the trend, with the also in consideration with the culture. So you need an external evaluator and perhaps an auditor to audit your leadership skills. So this, in short, goes into making of a leader.